the starry sound of Return of Samus. How you doing, everybody? I'm MYLOCKE. I like to play old, hacked, randomized, or updated games for the modern era. And as you can see, we have a wonderfully colorized version of Metroid 2, Samus Returns, Return of Samus, depending on what you prefer. And this is going to be my second podcast game, I guess. I played this last month. I'm trying to get some time in between plays, so that way when I watch it again, it kind of feels more fresh. So as you can see, beautiful colors. There's several hacks on this, all stacked together, and I will go through them. It's still the base game underneath, as you can see. When you get hit, you can still aim, but the sprite doesn't aim. There's no directional getting hurt sprites. So, just join me on this 2-hour journey to beat this game. I think I do 100% it. This was before, I think Super Metroid was kind of the first game where it was a standardized number of missiles every journey, or a maximum amount at least, before you beat the game. And this game, just like the first one, only has missiles. It is your only exterior ammunition. And I think we're coming up with the first Metroid here, yeah. It looks great. The Alpha Metroids, they improved them in the AM2R, but you could just shoot them right in the face, and they get hit. And I've always remembered this being here, a little out of the way, but cool. And those are throughout the map. I was using a map when I went through this. I do not have everything memorized. God forbid. I mean, the last time I played this game was probably on the Game Boy SP. So that was when the DS came out. You couldn't play Game Boy games anymore. So kind of pushed out this era of games for me. I don't think I really picked up my SP much after the DS came out, and that was what? When did I get one? I mean, I know it came out right around 2004, I think. I don't think I got one until 2006. It was one of those situations where I didn't have a job yet, so whatever money I had coming in, I had to use very wisely, and a DS was just not on the table for me. I had seen a bunch from other people, and they looked cool and they were nice, but I even had this guy, a friend's father had one, and he used it as an alarm. I'm okay. That's a weird choice. He must have had some games for it that I just didn't know were around, but anyways, so let's talk about this hack a little bit. This is actually several hacks. I have a list here of all the hacks that I placed together. So the colorization, the recoloring, the beautiful environments with a limited amount of Game Boy power that is available for this hack to utilize, or this game to utilize, is done by EJRTQ, who has quite a few hacks on romhacking.net, and they're basically all centered around this change of color, palette swapping, and just all around love and care for a DX version of this game. There was a actual ROM hack called Return of Samus DX. Pausing for a minute to hear the music change. A little more even keel. not too many tunes in this game. There's no bosses except for the final boss, so there isn't too many differences in music. There's Metroid Breeding Ground music, and then there's overworld music essentially. So so there's obviously this colorization hack, and that does quite a few little updates and changes, like status bar colors matching differently in different versions. But what I did to get this hack up, there's like I said, there's a bunch of different hacks in this all in one, and you can do that with most ROM hacks depending on whether or not they change values of the game or not. So I have a bunch together that don't change the same value, so hopefully that it wouldn't break on me, and it didn't. It did the first time though. I did it in the wrong order, so this is the order I did it in, and I'll put this all in the description. I have it in my notes just so you can replicate this if you really like. So there's an arm cannon graphics fix. So as you'll notice, Samus's arm cannon right here has a little nub on the end, like it looks like her arm cannon. It's supposed to look like that. But the first time you switch to missiles and you switch back, it becomes like rounded. It becomes like a rounded nub with the you know how when you're firing missiles here, you can see it expands into like a claw-like look, like her classic missile. I already changed out, but her classic missile arm cannon has like those expanded, and it looks like a claw in this game, as it does in Super Metroid. And in the original, they just changed your palette swap because it was too complicated. When you did that and the claw came back down, the pieces of the claw would be on the top layer, which means that it would change the way the Buster looks. The cannon, for the rest of the game, until you shut it down, turn it back on. And so someone, Bobalicious81, made a patch to fix that, and it works great, which is why at the beginning, if you probably don't remember because it was such a small thing and I didn't point it out, I opened up the arm cannon with selected missiles and then swap back. I was just testing that out. The next one I laid on top was the colorization, the obvious change that you're seeing right now is the colorization hack. And like I mentioned a second ago, there was a DX version of this, but the colors were not as much love and care went into it. It was basically like palette choosing, whereas this, I think they actually went into the game files and changed around what the colors actually are on the, I want to say sprites, but the assets themselves, and that's why it looks amazing. After that, as you can see, I actually have two 4s right now on the bottom of the screen. The 4s originally are more like the slanted side 4 that kind of looks like an A, and so I added that just because let's stack it on top. And that's by Romhacks, who I've actually played a couple hacks from before. That was a good snipe, but I failed by just going into the spikes immediately afterwards. The next hack, which I don't really know if I felt a difference, was the Better Spider Ball Controls hack by Pisano. And that was supposed to make it so that your Spider Ball controls like better with left and right depending on where you are, and because like they couldn't do everything. The Spider Ball controls in this game are kind of stupid. You would be going up a wall, and you hold up, and then you just continue on, even when you hit the ceiling, and you just keep going to the right or to the left, depending on how the ceiling is structured. when you're holding that. And sometimes you would let go of the button and press it again, and you would just not move because, you know, you're pressing the same button that you were before, but you're not on the slope anymore for that button. So they did something there, and like I said, I don't really think I noticed too much of a difference, but I added it because it's cool. Hopefully I felt the benefit of it, even if I don't realize I did. And this game gives you the ice beam super quick. And it gives you the spider ball super quick. So it's like, you could just go anywhere, really. The only hindrance to the spider ball is just having spikes on the walls. So, like, space jump isn't really needed until there's spikes on the walls, and by the time there's spikes on the walls, space jump's available. So I would just go through here, the first Chozo ruins. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Getting all the power-ups before I go down into the breeding grounds for the Metroids. And this is another one of those games, just like the first one, where you don't keep the beams once you get another one. Not only do you not keep it, you can't swap between the two of them. So you have to literally go to a Chozo statue, pick up a new beam in order to have it. Thankfully they respawn, but the way I've always played this game is, you know, just get them as we go, and then there's ice right at the end before you fight the Metroids, so it works out. And I'm sure they designed it that way too. Thank God Super Metroid allowed you to multi-equip and or switch between them. That was so fun. That's like my favorite part, I think, of Super Metroid when you compare it play-wise to some of the other games. Is that it just gives you so much freedom to do that with. And I was disappointed my first playthrough of Fusion because it didn't allow you to do that, but it was also for the Game Boy and they designed that a little differently, so. And the crack just respawns back in. Oh yeah, the yeah, I just damage boost through it. Nice. Yeah, we're in the breeding ground for sure. And then the last one, the last patch, the last hack I put on here was it makes the end when Samus takes off her suit. It canonizes the colors of her outfit and her hair. So the original was more like a red bikini with brunette hair, and they made it so that she is blonde, and it's more like an orange bikini, like it is in the end of Fusion. Although the end of Fusion is not like a bikini; it's actually like a just Under Armour, like it almost looks like a shiny leather. So here we are, 12 minutes in, and already talked way too much. Oh, you can cheese it. The alphas are just ridiculous. Too bad this game didn't have a hard mode. I probably would have played that. Although I did die a couple times. One particularly. I cut it all out, but one in particular was because I went to the Metroid breeding grounds before I went up in and gathered all the equipment from the Chozo area, or the Chozo ruins. And I ran out of missiles. And you can't kill the Metroids with anything except for missiles. So you really need them. And very stupid of me too, because that's where you get the space jump, so that would have made it easier for me. And right by where the space jump is, there's literally a missile refill. So it probably took me 3 hours to play this through, start to finish. Well, maybe less, but as you can see, we're 2 hours in, and I just cut out those parts. I think my playtime was hour 51, which is my record, my personal record. If I wanted to do this, I could probably do it again. Even better, now that I know, like, remember where I'm going. And regathering resources is kind of brutal in this game. Not many enemies drop health or missiles. Or the drop rate isn't the best. And they don't even drop like a big health. The big health you don't get until like later on. And everybody does way more damage than just 5, you know. So already we're almost going down to zone 2. Yeah, there's a way through here. I used to know about that when I was a kid, but I didn't see it until I came back through the map. Don't need the health up. Not the health up, the pitter-patter of the running. The health restore. Nope. Looks like I didn't catch a pause here. Mobby. I was probably looking at the map. So, how's everybody doing? Life's getting weird, huh? I recorded this in late March, and it is now late April for me, narrating this. And things have just been getting weirder and weirder. Although, I will say, time seems to have sped up. And I don't know if it's just I notice it or no one else really talks about it, but the experience of the flow of time changes for me quite frequently. It could be depending on the world circumstances, or it could just be me. I don't know, but for sure it changes. And this March didn't go by that slow, but this April, holy crap. So, I don't know if I mentioned it or not in any of my other videos. Probably not. Probably wasn't relevant. Oh yeah, I may have mentioned it on my Mega Man Legends playthrough, that I had motion sickness, but... So the story behind that is, my wife and I went to, Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, for our official honeymoon, this past February, early February, or mid to late February. And, you know, I'm 35. I'm going to be turning 36 in the next month here. And I am just not... I'm sad. Not disappointed. Just, like, bittersweet about the fact that I can't ride roller coasters anymore. My body just cannot take it. Especially since I haven't ridden any in... Oh, God. Probably up to 17 years ago was like the last time I rode like some really big roller coasters. And like, that's half my life, man. That's too long ago to have not ridden something so jarring. And then getting right back into it all of a sudden. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Oh, and then I just fail. Lame. I think I was trying to get something early. But this is the second area where you get the Vario suit. You get it so quickly. I mean, I guess you get it pretty quick in Super Metroid. Even if you're following the natural path and not doing any skips, you get it. What? Even if you're playing casual, it's in like the first 20, 30 minutes. Oh, cool. That's right. I forgot about that. You could freeze the plasma beams. So, anyways, so there was some mistake that was made on our passes for the park for some reason. And so we tried to get in the first day and we couldn't get in because our passes were like not valid or something. And we waited in line at the concierge for like an hour while they tried to figure it out. Something like was really busted with our crap. And to apologize to us after they gave us our passes back, they gave us complimentary express passes. And so of course it was just for the day. And of course we were like, oh hell yeah, let's just use it. Like, let's just go effing nuts. And so we literally rode every coaster on Islands of Adventure and Studios that first day. And what a shock to my body. My God, it's been so long since I felt that shitty in terms of like my physical state. It was, God, I don't wish that on my enemies. It was just crazy. It was a mess. I liked it so that you can see here the one that I'm actually trying to get to is just slightly more yellow. I'm just trying to like get rid of all of them just because. Oh, that one doesn't even break. The Varia suit looks pretty cool. It's just a lot more red though. It's like it's the same color as your helmet. So like, you look more of like a unit for sure. And you don't have that morph ball for very long. But it does look like, it looks like Samus is like angry. Like that little thing that appears above people's head when they're angry in a video game that you don't talk in. Yeah, that looks like what it is. So we went on all those roller coasters, and it was fun, but man, it was brutal. And even before we got back to the hotel room, I was just like, "Ooh boy," you know, like I needed to like, hey, I need to lie the f down. Although I couldn't because I was spinning. It was just like, it was bad. I had straight up vertigo. And yeah, whatever the rides did, they just effed up my ear crystals. And I just wasn't able to really function at 100% for like a good, probably the beginning of this month. I like started to feel like actually like good again. It came in waves, but it was bad. Especially after I fixed the vestibular problem with the vertigo. I still got the PPPD, which is like a post, positional disease, or not disease. It's not like contractible, but I think it's labeled as a D for disease. It was really rough, and I just had to figure out my triggers and figure out like what the heck was going on with my body. I think it's one of the last Metroids before we get into the Gammas, right? I think we fight a Gamma in this zone. And we get a different weapon right here, I think. God, I don't know how many hours I spent on this game back in the day. Especially after playing Super Metroid as my first Metroid. Well, I take that back. No, I don't take that back. Super Metroid was my first. Oh, what the heck happened? Oh, weird. I put some sort of window on top. Yeah, Super Metroid was my first, so I go back to regular Metroid and then this eventually. And it's rough compared to the other compared to Super Metroid. I mean, almost everything is. Okay, this is a high jump, I think. Yeah. Anyways, I bring that up because at least in Super Metroid, you're like, oh, okay, everything like has like a logical. The map is like unique enough where you can be like, oh, okay, I've been here before. This is a hub area. This is where I go next. But this game was not quite like that. There's so many little hidden spots to get, like that was like Wave Beam was hidden. Like you had to find it to get there. Like these two are obviously hidden, but like they're not critical items. In fact, this one follows the same pattern as the first Metroid, where you actually get more E-tanks available to pick up than you can actually carry. I don't know what they really want to do there. You get the boots, but you can't really jump on those things too easily, and if you do, you can't jump from one side to the other. The wave is stronger. Obviously, it goes through walls. I had a moment because that sound sounds super familiar. Very, very Nintendo-y. And it's also the same noise, but different pitches as the Found Metroid sound, you know. And all those items are very out of the way. And it is crazy the amount of ups you get from the high jump boots. Like you literally can't see where you're going to end up because the screen's so small. No wall jump yet either. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I'm just... It's technically faster. Yeah, you can see right there. Like the morph ball didn't go where I wanted it to. Or the spider ball, I should say. But you need the boots to get out of here. Unless you want to just go up. AM2R did this pretty well. They were really faithful with this, and they just... They made it their own. I've only played the remake once. I might play it again, but I don't know, man. If I played that before I played AM2R, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But AM2R just blew it out of the water. Like Nintendo really just like flubbed it on that one. I think it was Mercury's team. I mean, it's not a bad game. They did a great job. It's a fun game. But it's just like AM2R had way more heart, in my opinion. They changed some of the things in here, like the tower. the red tower in the middle that was like a weapon center. So in this game, it's there, but it just like it gives you the ability to choose from any of the weapons. Like you can choose. There's 2 locations for every weapon, 3 if you count the ice beam, I think. And they just give you the ability to choose any of them inside this tower. And this little guy. And in the AM2R, they just made that into like a weapon center, power suit, like test facility. Now the game really picks up because I can jump and morph. I did this, but I don't know why I did this. I remember doing that as a kid. Sometimes it's not even worth going back and getting the health. You get hit on the way back. I think I need to go hit the, or do I? Okay, there's a lot of little things I probably could have cut out, but... Oh, that's right, I don't think I pause... Oh wait, no, there is none. There is no Samus status pause screen in this. I'm thinking of Metroid Project, Metroid 3 Project. Right at the end, I paused for the first time and actually looked at the Samus inventory. It was really cool. I'm gonna be narrating that next, so maybe not for a while though. I probably gonna wear my voice out after this, and it's not like I'm gonna be talking about too much new things. Besides how beautiful the game is. And I'll leave it at that, because if I start talking about it now, I'm just gonna waste both of our time, so I'm not even playing that game right now. I'm looking at the map. Going to the Metroid breeding grounds for here. Now that I've gotten a bunch of items for this area. There's a little bit of a back and forth. Yeah, here we go. Here's the gamma. I think this was a nice blue color. And the pickups are like a little purple. Purpley. This guy's a little more HP. I mean, this game controls pretty well too. It's pretty tight, all things considered. Like, for a Game Boy game, this is amazing. I didn't have many Game Boy games growing up, but this was one of them, and I'm really happy that it was, because it's definitely top 5 that I've played. But I'm willing to bet it's at least top 20 for all Game Boy games that were ever made for the Game Boy. Oh yeah, and there's a little downside of the wave beam is that if you're right in front of a block, it will not clear. It's an easy fight just because it gets trapped again. Looking at the map, probably. Oh, I missed something? Or was I checking something out that I should have been more studious about? Oh. Yep, that's helpful. Because it's not like you can go back to your ship every so often, and there's only, what, 6 E-tanks in here? I remember as a kid, I explored every inch of this damn game. You had the time, and had a lot of car trips when I was a kid. I had a lot of family that was at least 2 hours away from my grandparents on one side, and then at least 5 hours away on the other side for my dad's side. So. It was a common occurrence that, once a month we'd be going one place to the other, depending on the weather and school schedules. It's not like my sisters and I, had weekend sports to attend, not until high school. And even then I didn't want to do it. I was on the track team and the tennis team. And the track had meets on Saturday mornings, and I'm like, I'm just doing this to run and have fun on like a team. I don't like the competitions. And to be honest, that was mostly because I'm not that fast. I think I got 1 point for my school ever in terms of competitive, and that was like by default. It was kind of sad. But it's just, I didn't really, when you're running against people you don't know, it's like, it's not fun, I don't know, for me at least. Let me respond to this text message. Those little guys, the ones you stand on, they're more common in the other games. I guess they like eat the Metroid shells. I don't know what's supposed to be making that little whining beepy noise. It's supposed to be them, maybe? I don't know. It's annoying though. You can see, okay, I'm looking. See where the heck I am. There's a missile recharge over here. Oh, it's a life charge, wow. Almost unnecessary. Need a missile one bad. As you can see, I only have 13 missiles. And I probably didn't... Well, you could probably see it. I didn't recoup much of that before I went to the next zone and then, fought a bunch of crap. Oh, okay, there's a item in here that I missed. I thought it was through where I just was. Okay, I heard some weird noises. It's getting some mail outside. Oh, I fell. These are a pain in the ass to get into. And then they're a pain in the ass to get back through. A little much, I think. Maybe like the first one could have been like a bombable spot, but like it does not need that many bombable blocks up through there. And then we're out of here. Just gonna go back through this central zone here. And we're almost halfway done. I'm definitely gonna take a pause here at an hour, just for me. Finish this another time, and that way we can have more to talk about. So there's a cut. I already cut. But yeah, I would have gone into this next zone populated with Metroids with only less than 30 missiles to fight a bunch of Gammas. No way. And, well, no way indeed, because I definitely failed. There was a health thing right where I died, but I needed missiles, and like none of the enemies on the way or the ones in the area were just giving missile drops. Really weird. Plenty of health drops, so I'm back up to 100%. But I don't think there's like a programmed, you know, like if you're full on health, give missiles type of deal, or like have the ratio be like, you know, depending on how bad you're injured, more health, and if you're more healthy, it would like even the spread a little bit, and then if you're super healthy, it would be primarily missiles. I don't think they had the ability to program that. I think it was just, maybe it's based on enemy type or something. And this is the, you have to go back and forth through here a bunch. It's weird that at one little point here during the game, they made the route go back and forth. So like this area below me right now that has lava in it won't clear out until I go to a different zone. So I'll be back here later. But after I defeat all the Metroids in this zone, I have to leave it, go down a different area. Just a little bit of a pain in the butt. Especially since the map actually doesn't line up that well. Although, to be fair, I don't think the original one does either, right? No, actually, the original one does line up. It is all one board that you're just traveling on until you go to a different zone. But, so it's like, okay, so it's like 4 different boards. It's more in line than the remake. I don't know if you have ever seen a map of... I tried to make one. Like, I legit tried. A map of Zero Mission. Different boards not overwrite, but have spaces of doors and stuff on top of other places. So it's more like a 3D world, but it's just really hard to represent that on a map when you're trying to make like a full zone map. I tried my best, but there's just a couple areas that you just can't overlay on top of each other. And awesome. I love the way that looks. I actually like the way Space Jump looks better than Screw Attack in this game. And just like Metroid, the original, the Screw Attack is almost completely optional. Like, it's out of the way, you have to find it. I kind of wish that Super Metroid like kept that up, or even all the Metroids. I wished it was still like optional to get some power-ups. Like, that was like part of the charm. It's like, oh shit, I just found this thing, I don't even need it, but it makes me so much more powerful to take on bosses, or just like regular mobs, because it does. It's like, it's really cool to, like, you know, power up your character, your avatar when you're playing a game like this. But there's still like the searching and the finding stuff is kind of like the best part, right? Like, oh wow, I just found a power up. Like, this is the only big energy up. There's more now, but and Spazer finally. Like, you don't even need to get any of these weapons in the original Metroid. You don't even need to get Long Beam, although you don't need to get it in the remake either. All you need is a bunch of missiles, bombs, maybe high jump, ice beam. Trying to think, and that's kind of like really it. You don't need to. Yeah, this room is bullshit. At least the gammas still allow you to shoot him in the face. Okay. I remember I went down another time, but I'm like, what the heck? So anyways, my point is like, or even like, actually they kind of did this with the plasma beam in Super Metroid. You don't need to go get it. You don't need Spazer either. Or, actually you don't even really need Wave either. You just need Ice Beam. And Ice Beam they kind of like have in a spot where you need to go anyway. Wave Beam, you can completely graze over it, as you can with Spazer. So I guess that's cool. I'll take back a little bit of what I said. I'm thinking of, like, when I was saying those things, I was mostly thinking of Metroid Prime, because all of those power-ups are like, you need them in order to beat the game. And even like this little section over here, like there's a Metroid in here. You have to just F around and just figure out where the hell is that Metroid. What, like, I have to like go around every single piece of tile with my spider ball just to figure out if I can go somewhere. Like this right here, which is, there's nothing here. There's literally nothing there. But it's just like hidden tiles. So I was exploring it because like, oh, is there really nothing here? Yeah, there's nothing there. And now we're already like here. So it's like this energy tank isn't even really hidden because we had to go here to get a Metroid. Anyways, I digress. But I think it's just, I just think it's really cool to have optional power-ups that you don't need to beat the game. And it makes it so that, like, if you just like a casual playthrough for your first time playthrough, you can beat it. And it makes it harder, which is cool. But then as you get better at the game, or if you play it again on the second time, you know everything that happens, and you can explore a little bit more. Maybe pull off some tech, like this game has great tech. Not this one specifically, but like Super Metroid has great tech where you can wall jump, skip a bunch of stuff, get stuff really early. And it's like Super Metroid is like 3 different games, if you think about it. You have the game for the first playthrough, which is just like finding the 4 bosses, Ice Beam, and getting out of there. And then you have like a second playthrough where you're like, oh, okay, let me get 100%. Let me find all the stuff. Let me go there. Oh, wow, all these power-ups are so cool. They make me so much powerful. I could almost play this on hard mode. And you know, like, with all my new stuff, I can beat it, even though it's on hard mode. And in my opinion, we did not have Spazer for long enough. Not that I mind, because Plasma Beams like one-shots almost everything. But still, it's just like... It's still disappointing that they don't stack. And they kept that from, I don't know if it was purposeful or if they used kind of like the same engine. But when you get hurt in Metroid, you can, and you haven't jumped yet, or you, I don't know, reset your jump. So you can jump again if you get hurt. Or when you open up from a morph ball, you can jump. And I'm so glad they brought that back for Metroid 5. It was so cool to see that. And I didn't go down here when I should have. Yeah, these little bastards are ridiculous. Holding my bunny. He loves to be held. He's such a good boy. Very lucky with this one. In terms of like his affection requirements. he just, I don't know, he loves me a lot. He loves being held and pet, and I don't know why he doesn't like to be held as much by my wife. I have a suspicion that her energy is a little different. She has more of a needy energy, and Bunny's, at least him in particular, doesn't seem to respond well to that. She just really tries to hold him, and he's like, no, let me go. Bunnies are sweet little creatures. Yeah, I'm gonna hold him right now. I would take a picture, but you guys don't care. Who's listening to this anyway? I don't even need that. I don't know why I got that. But now that I have this space jump, like the entire map just kind of like opens up for you. Also, it's very hard to time the space jump properly when you have no reference point, because you need to like fall a little bit. You can't just keep pressing the jump button. Now, the space jump has always been super weird. They kept that for Super Metroid 2, and I hate it. Thank God you have things like the Project Base where you can respin. Because that's so helpful. But like, space jump timing is just, it could be improved a lot. You know, now that I have that speech about item pickups and what's necessary and what's not necessary, I'll have to replay through Dread again soon because I don't think a lot of those pickups are actually needed. I know, like on the way, you have like the fusion and the wide charge shot, and I think those things are like required. But there should be a lot of items that just aren't. So I'll have to go through that and like do like a minimalist run, just to see what's required and what's not required. That game's so amazing though. I try to play it once a year since it came out. I'm due for one. Actually, I don't even think I played it last year, so I'm overdue for one. Trying to figure out if there's... There it is. And it's a one-way. That would have been useful information yesterday. I was just curious because I just do not remember that whatsoever. This is where the game starts to drag for me personally. This spot and the next area where you're actually like starting to get toward the queen. As you can see, I'm very loose and from the hip with my missiles. So, you know, imagine going into here with 30 missiles and almost nothing to replenish them. No way I'm killing... Was it 4 freaking gammas in here? I am not good enough. No offense to myself. And just like the sand in the other area, this is a cool fight because the missiles will shoot the netting. So I did this to clear it out. Just to make the missiles. I mean, it's a regular alpha. It's not like it has a lot of HP. Right, coconut. Good boy. And there's like hidden stuff over here. Oh, it's not even hidden. But I mean, I guess you go into it knowing you have to explore every nook and cranny. It's just, it sucks that sometimes the nooks and crannies are invisible. And I'm like, what the hell? Like I said, it's been like 17 years since I played this game. Maybe more. Oh, probably 20. Probably 20. I think I decided afterwards that it's probably better that I missed a Metroid in the Chozo Ruins area, because I definitely needed to go back to replenish my missiles. I guess while I'm thinking about it, I might as well talk about it too. A little bit of an elephant in the room for anyone who's been following me or actually like listening and actually watching my videos, which I don't think is anybody right now. But if you find yourself in the future watching back on these, you'll probably already know, but I've mentioned it before, but I'm gonna quit doing this. at the end of this year. I'm essentially going to let my Mega Man X damageless YouTube Shorts play through, and I'm not going to replenish it. And I'm also going to stop recording these unless it's like a super awesome game that I want to play and just record and just have fun with. Especially like an older hack if something like happens. So I'm going to be going through this year and just clicking off the rest of the list, really. I mean, I got, what, 24? This is where I died, or where I had to reset because I had no missiles. And there's nothing over there. There should be, but... So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad. It's just, I mean, I wasn't really expecting YouTube to make me money. I literally went into this doing it for fun, and that's literally the only reason I've continued to do this, is because I have a lot of fun playing these games, talking about them, experiencing new versions of them. Like, you know, I like to play the hack versions. I like to play like people giving new life and energy to these older games. Like, this one is a prime example of the tender love and care that can go into making an old black and white, not that good looking game amazing looking. I mean, like, technically it was perfectly fine, and it still is. It's very much still the same game underneath the hood. But look how beautiful it is now. Look how easy it is to look at. The little things just that people have been able to do to give it a little something extra have been amazing. And I love playing that, and I love sharing that. And especially with, like, Link to the Past, I'm not super involved, but I follow the community. Like, I really like the guys, like Letterbomb and Scoffle and Zarby. Like, I follow all of their work because I just, like, it's not like they're heroes or anything, but it's just like I really admire them for all their work, because it's great, amazing work, and they deserve a lot of praise for, you know, essentially, like, rekindling and rebeautifying, reviving the Link to the Past community. And so I think, like, so this is where both the one ways come in handy. So like these games, like, deserve the praise that they have, and not only that, but to make them more beautiful or make new things out of them, to use that engine, like to use the Super Metroid engine. Now that we're playing Metroid, we might as well talk about Metroid rather than Link to the Past. So many beautiful games have come out of Super Metroid hacks. I remember, I don't remember what it was called. One of the first ones I played, I was just blown out of the water by how beautiful that end section looked. Like, you had a reflection on the ground. You were just, like, speed boosting through this area right at the end where you could, you're going down to fight Mother Brain. I think that was the one where you don't have Screw Attack yet, but you can get it, and it's optional. And, like, the reflection off the water, you're in this, like, weird cave, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. This game had so much potential, and it lived up to a lot of it, but the community that fostered the love for it is just amazing. And that's like one of the real reasons why I continued playing on my YouTube channel here for so long, because that's like, what's a good non-video game metaphor here? It's like taking a I'm trying to use like painting art. Maybe it's better. Actually, I could use painting art. It's like taking a Picasso or a Rembrandt or a who did Van Gogh? Who did Starry Night? It's like taking one of their paintings and being like, okay, this is beautiful. This is a classic. And then like you copy it, and then you like put a little bit of a different style to it. You add something to it, and yeah, sure, the original is the absolute classic, but damn, like you really took the artist's intention and you like maximized it. I bet like if they were to make a 2.0, it would be completely different and more beautiful too. And I love seeing that. I'm trying to think, like, or maybe even like, yeah, maybe even like architecture, like building a house. You get an old, 85-year-old house, and you're a carpenter or you're an architect, and you just like scrub the crap out of it. You keep the bones of the house, but then you like modernize it, and you make it beautiful in a way that it wasn't before. Like, it was beautiful before. It's an old house. The wood was, amazing at the time. It needs more finish, but it's still like a wonderful house. And then you knocked it out of the park. And that's how I feel about this stuff. It's just... There aren't many mediums, which is why I'm having a hard time finding a proper metaphor for this. There are not many mediums where you can take it and improve upon it to a level where you're like, oh, this is better. This is better than the original. Because like TV does the opposite to books. Very seldom have I been like, oh wow, I like the TV version better than the book. Or even, I like the TV version better than the game. That's definitely never happened. Because most games these days, especially if they're made by a big studio, are movies in of themselves. And to make them into a movie would just be to not give it justice, because it's already been given the love that it needed to get. Thankfully, with Spring Ball, you can just get out of here easy, but... So, anyways, that's my spiel. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and see if you can find a better metaphor. I'm more than willing to hear it. I know there's a better one out for it. I think the house one comes really close. But like I said, in terms of like other mediums where you can do this too, there aren't many. Because I'm thinking of like, I'm a writer. I'm thinking of like, oh, somebody's taking a book that somebody's written and then just like re-editing it to make it better. And it's like, there is like intention by the artist when it comes to that. That you just can't beat. I think like the only time where that would be like better is if there was like a writer's room, and things made by writer's rooms are often not great because there's so many writers and the vision needs to be agreed upon. There's no singular vision where someone can be like, from start to finish, this is mine, and I take so much pride in it. It almost seems like to me, in a lot of cases, and I'm looking at you, Last of Us specifically, they already had like a script and everything, but damn, I don't know who was in charge of what, but they just did not, they fell through with that big time. You wanna get down, buddy? Little boy. We got him in November. He's still a little baby. He's getting so big already, though. His dad was a thick boy, so he's still got his baby skin. He's gonna get thicker in the next, year here. Oh, those guys did 20 damage. Thankfully, they give out the high yield health. And then we're back to the other area. Sorry, just going through my notifications here on my phone. Nothing I care about. Spam, if anything. Alright, so we're right after this zone. I think we're going to the latter half of the game. I mean, we're already in the latter half of the playthrough, but in terms of gameplay-wise, definitely entering the latter half here. Go through this area again. It's such a PETA. Like I said before, though, the AM2R really did a wonderfully faithful remake of this, and so that's like one of the only reasons like this feels so natural. It's because I've played like a different version of this game quite a few times in the past. Since I played this actual game. Probably played AM2R 5 or 6 times since I last played this all the way through. I think I played it a bunch. Just to test with. I think I even have one of my. No, I have this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have this game still, so I don't have a copy of it, but. I need to get some more cartridges and just load on some Romhacks, especially one like this. I mean, it doesn't really matter. When I have kids, I don't really plan on, giving them any of my games. It's gonna be like a private collection in my room, in my office. I mean, so it's like. It's going to be there for me to remember, but I kind of just... My children are going to be born into a much different world than I was, and I don't feel as though games are going to be a productive outlet for them when, especially if inflation increases and, this... I mean, I plan on having a kid in the next... year, and it depends on my wife, but, the point still stands. She's like, the world is so different now, and I just feel like, yeah, they're gonna have a lot of free time, but I just want to fill it with something more meaningful than video games. And I'm not saying that video games can't be meaningful. I'm just saying that, like, the skill of video games is probably not as useful as just, like, watching someone play it through. Because, like, you get the same kind of story. Unless it's, like, one of those games where it's, like, Detroit Being Human, where you literally have a unique story every time you play through it, based on your choices. But in terms of, like, something like this... actually, I take that back. Something like this doesn't even really matter, because there's almost no story whatsoever. You're just playing through a game, killing Metroids. I would say, like, AM2R, or maybe, maybe the remake would be like a little bit more story-y, but I mean, like, video games for me are books. Instead of, dumping a bunch of time into books, fantasy novels, and things like that, video games were my fantasy novels. And I read some of them several times because I liked them so much. I liked experiencing that story, the thrill of the gameplay. I can't really see, personally, how that's too much different than reading a fantasy novel. So, like, in that way, I don't think they're a waste of time. Some of them have amazing stories, and some of them have, like, really, like Braid, for example. I know I've talked about it before on this channel. And Braid is just beautiful, amazing. Of course, it came to me in a time where I had just had a breakup with my first real girlfriend, and someone who I was with for a year and a half. I thought it was going to be like, damn, this is right out of high school. This is going to be it, obviously not financially stable yet, but I want to have children with this person and, get married and such. And it didn't work out because of that situation where we were both too young and we just couldn't afford to be in a relationship. Like, emotionally and fiscally, because we were too young. And Braid found me, and it delivered a story that was both told in the overworld through the books that you see, like, as you approach a new, like, level, and also through the gameplay. And it was just like, holy shit, like, that was, like, probably one of the first games where the gameplay actually told a story more than, like, because, like, I had played both Metroid Primes at that point. I'm trying to think, oh, damn, I played Metroid Prime 3 at that point, too. There must have been another game that told a good story through the gameplay itself. Like, the gameplay mechanics were part of the story. Like, the ring on that last level of or the second to last level, I suppose. I guess it is technically the last level, but it's the last level numbered wise, but not the last level you play. You play the first one last. The ring where, like, it slows down time, or like the key that is immune to time, and like, you just think about those concepts and like what they mean in context of the story of the game, and you're just like, oh, holy shit, there's so much depth to this fucking game that I you can just keep going down, and it's just like, this was clearly a vision of someone, and they wanted to tell a beautiful story that has, like, dual meanings, because it wasn't not only about, like, finding the princess. It was like time, nuclear holocaust, wrapped up into, like, a cutesy little platformer, and it was just like, it blew my 20-year-old mind, and like, something like that where it's just like, okay, that's something that I could probably watch someone else play and probably get about the same out of it. My throat's actually starting to hurt. I might quit, like, right around here. I'm almost at the 120 mark. Oh, I am at the 120 mark. So I think I'm gonna, right as this door transition fades, I'm gonna quit. It's been a few days since I was here, so please forgive the stark difference in probably my voice and also the tone of the rest of this recording. I'm gonna really try not to do this in the future, but my voice was, like, really killing me. It was like the first time in probably a Yeah, probably a few months where I had to talk for like more than an hour in like a row. Even when I play other games, it's not nearly as like I can take breaks and pause the video and just stitch it in seamlessly. So I think this is this is supposed to be the tower that in the AM2R they yes, AM2R they made into like a weapons facility, which amazing. Loved it. But there's a lot of Metroids around here. I think this is also where we get the screw attack, because we're nearing the end. Oh, our first Zeta. There actually aren't even that many Zetas compared to Gammas and Alphas and Omegas. Damn, they have a lot of HP. Plus, I'm not waiting for like the pattern. I'm just shooting missiles from the hip. As per usual, I have a tendency to do that. Just in general, I have some really fond memories of. So I was super depressed in 2001. I had just lost a friend. I had just lost a bunny, and so I was like really trying to like bolster up the relationships I did have in my life. And my sister agreed to. I bought her PlayStation Plus, and we both played Far Cry 6, I think. And it was so fun, but she plays like a stealth rogue, and I over level, and then I come in guns blazing. So it's just funny to see that personality difference expressed through video game play style. And so she got pissed off at me a couple times just because it's like well, failed the stealth. Guns blazing now. Like, I'd always try for stealth at first, but it would be like, okay, like I'm good with the sniper rifle in games, especially games like that where it's not PvP and the NPCs or the player characters are moving around so quickly. Like Overwatch 2, I really tried to play Widow for a while, and it just I could not aim worth shit. Plus my ping was real bad, so that's probably part of it. But still, so like, I would support her with a sniper as she went in and just stealth killed a bunch of people. But sooner or later, I would have to like go in to support her, or I'd have to get closer, and they would just friggin' see me. And I'm like, all right, well, they only think I'm here, so let me distract them while you do the thing. And it was fun. But she later said that, yeah, I'm going to replay it. That way I could do stealth on the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. But that I'm super fond of that. And she's a mother now. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but I did really want to play Skyrim 6 with her when that came out because, oh, shit. This friggin' the bomb is a pain in the ass. It just has too long of a range. But I think I discover here that it just pushes you up. It blows the brick first and then pushes you. So I was like, oh, doesn't really matter. And then this is the second to last E-Tank, even though I can't hold another E-Tank. It's great that they recharge you though. So, but like, I really do want to play Skyrim 6 with her. I played a decent amount of Skyrim 5, but I couldn't really get into it. I remember when it first came out and people were like doing like weird challenges where like I have to work out for the same amount or the half of the amount of time that I'm in game just to balance out how much I'm playing because they're gonna like the game so much. And I remember hearing about that, and then by the time I got a good enough PC to get Skyrim 5, I'm like, okay, let me play this. And like, I guess I'm just really not accustomed to that type of game. Same thing with Elden Ring, where it's just like, it's a 3D world, you have a full carte blanche to explore. You just need to get from one part of the map to another. And it's kind of like a roguelite in that regard too, because what you encounter going from one end to the other could be different between playthroughs or just the route you take. So I just never really got into it in the way that I was like, oh, okay, I know where to go, I know what I want to do, and I would just do it. But I could never get around. Yeah, got lost a little bit in here. It's only like a C, but it has some bomb blocks that confuse you in that C. As you can see, it helps to have some frame of reference. There you go. Not that I need it. So yeah, I mean, eventually I got better. It was a rough fucking year. I mean, and time was going so slow because COVID. Just the year before. Oh, well, it was still during COVID, and I went through a breakup the year before of a year-and-a-half relationship with someone I knew since I was a kid too. So that it was like, oh, okay, this is like almost like kind of like you feel like the fairy tale. You feel the like the destiny creep in, even though it's only all in your head or it's an ego thing, and just. Wow, I'm doing a good job on this one. Nice. And, that shatters the ego too. You have to break out of that. It sucks. Yeah. This is the confusing one too, because it's like, I think there'd be a statue there, but it's not. It's all like sealed in by those bricks. Nice. Looks badass too. I personally like the look of the space jump first, but I mean, in terms of like, it does look cool. It's just like I have a preference for the two. They really nailed it in the 64 version with the screw attack. And I mean the 64 version, Super Smash Brothers. Like the up B looked amazing. The screw attack is kind of like an electric attack, weirdly enough. So I think, yeah, this is kind of like the last area. Oh yeah. So anyways, this past week was kind of rough for me too. Not as rough as 2021, of course, but I just mean like my motion sickness is coming and going. Sometimes it feels like as it pleases, which sucks. But yep, they got the little things hiding everywhere. It's just that something always like brings it on, and it just it like lingers for a couple days when you have an event. It sucks. Like Saturday, so I overate on Friday, and that was part of it. And so I went to bed early. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock on Friday, and that was great. I slept in till like 8, so it was a good, 11 hours, and I felt pretty good. I mean, I did wake up a couple times. The bunnies jumped up on the bed. I wonder if I'm actually damaging. Oh, I was damaging it. Wow, crazy. That was the best one. And I slept that long, but then I woke up and I'm like, oh boy, here it is. Does not feel good. And so I just took it easy all day. Sat in my meditation chair. I read a little bit. The sucky thing about the freaking motion sickness is it triggers most when I look down. $210, wow. And looking down to read also does it. So like I have to like hold the book like above my like neutral forward in order for it to not trigger. And it just like it's like sure I can say no to TV for a day. That's easy. But to be bored and like I can't even move around that much, like to do chores around the house. So it's like just can't do anything when you're in that state. And it sucks. So I'll probably look at the map right now. But feel better slowly. It's just sometimes it's scary. It doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel pleasant. And I've been having problems with stress lately anyway. And I think it's partly due to the state of the world right now, as I've alluded to probably before here in this earlier in this recording from last week. It's like there's so many social media platforms now, and at some point I was going on Reddit like before I went to bed just to like, because Reddit's like, sure, it's super left, but also at the same time it's super, I mean, I'm sure Twitter I can do this too as well, but it's like super curated. Like you literally just join groups. So I'm in a bunch of groups for video game stuff, and like that's it, video games and bunnies. And so like I go on there at night to like relax with looking at new content for things that I like genuinely enjoy. And that's great too, but like, the algorithm freaking seeps in, and it's just like, okay, I'm getting crap that I don't need and don't care about now all of a sudden, and it's starting to get bad. And then I love Instagram because that's also a good way you follow people, and they have whatever content that you want to see and follow. But then at the same time there, it's like, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I'm watching the game. At the same time, it's just like there's so many ads. The algorithm pops you videos that you don't care about all the time. It's all about selling ads and advertising. And I'm so sick of it now. I'm just so sick of the internet in general. I'm just like, it doesn't interest me anymore. There's nothing there for me. There's nothing new there for me, and there's nothing really interesting there for me anymore. I mean, yeah, I log in occasionally to... Oh yeah, so there's another one that you can trigger. There's another enemy here. Another Metroid. And you have to go all the way around. I think you have to go down and go through a specific spot to trigger the lava falling, or trigger the new... You have to like go down here, see that the lava rose, then go back around again. Yeah, go into this room probably. But yeah, so like, it's just like there's nothing really on the internet that is like good for my soul anymore. I don't know if anyone else has felt like that, but it's just like, I try to stay away from political stuff in general anyway. But it just, it's not like realistic anymore. If you're on a platform like that, it's impossible to stay away from. And, you know, it's a shame too, because they're doing that on purpose. The people in charge, and I'm not talking about the current administration, I'm talking about the people in charge. They are literally sowing this dissent between everybody, and those of us who can see it, and don't want a part of it, still have to participate in it, just because it's how everything's going right now. And it's soul-sucking. It doesn't feel good. And, you know, in how long has it been? 2026 now, so... Oh wow, it's only been 1 year into this administration. Holy shit. That was a long year. Damn. You know, I'm thinking back to it, and like, it didn't seem that long. It's one of those situations too, so time moves differently. And I don't know, maybe I did talk about this before. The perception of time changes. Your perception of time, for every individual, changes based on your life circumstances. So like for me personally, this past, I guess we'll just say since 2026 clicked over, the days and the weeks are going so quickly. March was a blink of an eye. And I remember when I lived with one of my best friends, we spoke about this frequently, and we were just checking in with each other, because he lived it with me for... Oh god. Since 2020? Yeah, since 2020. Maybe earlier. I think since 2020. And so he lived with me for 5 years, renting a room downstairs. But we would check in with each other occasionally on like how our perception of time is. And we'd have talks about it. And we would confirm with each other that we had a similar experience of time for, you know, whatever time frame that we're both experiencing. And so, like, and this could be allegory too, because obviously we live in the same house, we live in the same region of the world, we have similar interests, because, you know, we're best friends. And so, like, that's obviously data to take into calculation about, you know, what I'm saying right now. It's not definitive proof, but I now have my wife where I can talk to about this passage of time, and she feels the same way too. So I'm like, I'm you know, data points of two, but the same type of, I mean, her interests and mine are differing in certain aspects. Like lifestyle, we have more in common, but like individual interests are quite different. And, you know, I guess that's what matters in a relationship, is that, you know, your lifestyle interests are aligned. For us, it's like travel, organization, feng shui, you know, how we organize the house, you know, things that we're interested in while we're traveling, and, you know, stuff like that. So there's a little bit different of a data set there, but obviously we're still living together in the same spot, in the same area of the world. But time does seem to move differently, perceptually, based on, extenuating circumstances. And for me, this past year, since the click over of 2025, has been an extremely long time. It's probably felt like two years or so. I mean, it wasn't as extreme as COVID, where, the entirety of 2020 and the entirety of 2021 felt like, 4 years each. Just because experience was so new and novel coronavirus, I'm gonna say that. I wonder if I'm gonna get dinged. I'm not talking about anything about the coronavirus. I'm just talking about time. So, like, it just felt like, it was just like a new way to be in the world. And I guess maybe 2025 felt that way too, because we traveled a lot. We went to Florida, right around this time last year. We traveled for family quite a couple times. We went to Texas. We got married. We then, still within 2026, but within the calendar year of the first travel, we went to Florida again, to Orlando. So it's like a lot of things happened. We did a lot of stuff. And maybe that's the reason why 2025 felt so long, is because there's lots of novel experiences. There we go. 3 left, 2 left. In AM2R, these ones are very hard, because they made those things spit fire and acid and shoot the little arm things. They really integrated it from Fusion, the move set for those guys. A nice 20 health there. So I'm curious to see, and maybe that's different between, the realm of the planet you're on and what's going on in your life, or other things, but it's just so strange. But at the same time too, it feels like over the past month or two, even though I've been sick, and it sucks when I am sick, the weeks are going by so quickly. Just remarking to my friends, we hang out once a week, and it's like, oh, I saw you guys like 2 days ago. I was like, oh no, it's been a full week. It's strange too, because I'm like driving my wife to work lately too, and so like I have like 2 hours out of my day, sometimes only an hour if I stay there, that are like kind of like just driving. And I'm listening to a podcast, or, I'm deep in thought, kind of like doing a meditation, especially if it's highway driving. Depending on the direction you're going, at what hour, it's relatively clear. You can just cruise in the slow lane, doing like a respectable speed. And it's a strange use of my time that I haven't driven into work personally, routinely, like every day, for a long time. I've been working from home since 2022, I think. Like, routinely. I think it started in 2021. We had the Delta variant come out after we started to go back into the office, and then everyone was like, alright, well, see you guys later. I guess we're just doing this now. It's just better for everyone, and we all got like a taste. We got a taste of the sweet, sweet work from home. And then, you know, the rest is history. Yeah, this is it. This is the approach. The music has changed as well. And all of a sudden there's no enemies. Which is like, oh, that's weird. Everything's been sucked dry by the Metroids. Also, fun fact. This looks like it has a floor. It does not. And depending on what height you fall from, you always go to the lowest, like the floor below me right now. Even if you fall in one of those little water beds from a higher point, even right there, that will make you go through the floor. But if you fall into even like one of these water beds, you will go all the way down to the first floor, not the floor below you. It's so strange. Bullshit. IMO. So, looking over to see what my rabbits were doing, because I heard a thump thump. And, I had just put a new heating pad underneath my bed. A nice wide one for both of them, since they really like going underneath the bed during the day. That's all of my first bunny, who's 5. Oh, is she 5 now? Oh my god, she'll be 6. She is 5. She'll be 6 this October. My god. She usually likes to lay underneath the bed or in her little box by my desk, depending on how she's feeling, depending on the season, maybe. I don't know. She changes her behavior every so often. Keeps me on my toes. Here we go. We gotta go get the ice beam again. Shame you can't kill the Metroids any other way. Even though you can kill their evolved forms with just missiles, you can't kill baby Metroids with missiles. The larval state must just have so much more defense. That's the only way I can really rationalize it, I think. But anyways, yeah, so with both of them here, they both like to lay on the heating pad underneath the bed, and they kind of like, they don't fight over it, but they're both clearly like trying to be like, hey, I want to lay here on this spot because it's nice and warm. And so oh well, first Metroid. The Metroids in 1 and 2 really just grab you in a way that they don't in the other games. So it was like a nice big dog-size heating pad. And now they're both like really enjoying it. And I look over and I see all of my elder bunny's feet just laid out. She's like stretching out, because they both can like stretch out on it now and have plenty of room for each other, which is great. I'm super happy they like it. Here, we approach. I'm gonna explain it in Project, but it's weird that there's just X eggs right there. I'm surprised the Metroids didn't eat it. What? Yeah, like that. That was bullshit. I don't know if anyone else saw that. Anyone watching here? that was my fault, but the other one was bullshit. I remember as a kid too, I would go back and save. That way I can approach the queen with full health. That was bullshit. What the hell is going on here? Oh, did I not change this? Oh, I don't think I did. I died the first time, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm coming through here, this is my second time around. I don't remember. No, this is definitely my second time around. I knew I had to do this, I just didn't know, I wasn't even, spin jumping the, or screw attacking the little shit it shoots at you before. Yeah, I think my dad's here, so. My cameras really suck. They take so long to freaking load. Trying to like look outdoor to see like where he is. If he's even here. But clearly he's here, so I'm gonna peace out right here. Thanks for watching. I think I've said all I needed to say. And I'll join you next time on Project Base, which I was about to mention, but we'll talk about it then, especially when it comes to missile firing rate. I love just turboing and then just shooting missiles into Mother Brain's brain. Amazing. Alright, thanks for joining me on this cast again, and see you next time, hopefully. Peace out. Sayonara.